written a very powerful book called Raising Up Role Models. I'm going to ask him to introduce himself to us.
Pastor Brian? Pastor Brown, indeed, yes. My name is Martin Stevens, and I have proudly been used to write this amazing book, which I do believe is one of the most important books today. And it's called Raising Up Role Models, and it's for our community. And it's designed to help equip the community so we can help our younger generation.
Okay, Stephen, let me ask you then, so what inspired you to write this book? I know you said it in your opening remarks roughly, but give us a little bit more detail. So what really inspired you on a personal level to write this book?
Thank you, great question. For me, I was inspired to write this book based on personal experience and through conversations I had with some friends. Long and short, when I had 2 children, my wife and I, we had 2 sons. We were contemplating having a third child, and whilst we were waiting to see, whether we were going to try again, I thought to myself, but wait, I'm a godfather to several godchildren. Let me improve my role as a godfather in the meantime. And also, whilst doing that, I was speaking to a close friend of mine, Chris, who shared her experiences of being a godmother to 7 godchildren. And it really blew my mind to say there's so much more that we as godparents should be doing. So I started to diarize and document my findings, and lo and behold, my notes turned into a book.
Very interesting. Now I notice you have Raising Up Role Models, but then it switches to Godparenting. How do you differentiate between? How do you explain the difference between role models and Godparenting? What's the connection?
So I primarily am looking to empower and equip godparents, but I didn't want that to be at the forefront. I didn't want to distract people with that title. I wanted people to realize the role and be inspired that being a role model is more important, especially for young people. So, for example, if somebody loves what this book is about, but unfortunately they're not a godparent, they don't have godchildren, I didn't want them to be excluded. So I thought, let me call it Raising Up Role Models, because anybody can have that desire. So if you're not a godparent and you want to be a role model, by all means, you're still welcome. So I call it Raising Up Role Models because I want people to improve on their skills and be equipped with different strategies on how to help young people. But my primary audience is to awake up the sleeping army of godparents, and hence they're my primary target.
Okay, very, very interesting answer. Now let me give you, before we go into the contents of the book itself, let me just give you my immediate impression when I saw it, when I heard the subtitles and saw the book. And I'll be very honest with you, I didn't think raising up role model is an unusual subject, because everybody's trying to raise up role models. Even the government is asking us to raise up role models, asking to become role models for children, even other people's children. But in my opinion, I don't think that there is anything on the market. If I'm wrong, somebody have to correct me who's watching this video at the moment. But the idea of reaching out to godparents, and to show that your heart is not so much into making money, because I'll be thinking, speaking to godparents would immediately would attract a lot more immediate interest than using the role model. It goes to show the integrity of this man's heart. He's really after something deeper than money. We'd ask the question, what is more important than money? I suppose you want to go at this time, go into the contents. Maybe you could take us through some of the things that you covered in the book. Contents, let's go into some of those. Do you have those in your mind, or you want to go through it but using the book? I'm not sure.
Yeah, either is fine. I mean, It's all in there. So with regards to the content, I, first of all, through interviewing several different people, I found that many godparents are in a position where they've lost contact with their godchildren. And hopefully I might be speaking to some right now. And if you've lost contact with your godchildren, this book is the perfect resource for helping you with reconnecting. So one of the chapters I have in fact, one of the early chapters is actually called Apologizing and Forgiveness.
Wow.
And in that title, it's in there to empower the reader to let them know that apologizing is actually not a weakness.
Okay.
It's very important to know that there's strength in being able to be apologetic if indeed you are the person that needs to apologize. And even sometimes if you're not in the wrong, being able to apologize just provides you with the opportunity to show that you are the bigger person, you know. And also the importance of forgiveness is just as important as well.
Okay.
So we're doing this live time.
So you mentioned as well the language of love and that type of thing. For example, I've seen when I've looked in the book some of the stuff that I've seen in there as well. Mm-hmm. And what are the 3 conditions you said about how to relate to?
So you're talking about time, love, and discipline. So
yes, that's what yes. Okay, how would you explain that?
So that's the subheading of this book.
Okay.
All they really need is time, love, and discipline.
Okay.
I even have some lyrics where I say, in these times that we're living in, all they really need is time, love, and discipline. And if we give it, then you'll find they'll be listening, become responsible and kind to their fellow men.
Right.
I'm just tapping into a little bit of my skill set. But I put that as the subtitle because time is more important than money. They're both currencies.
Yeah. Okay.
And I teach that in here as well, because time is a currency. You know, you can spend it, you can waste it, or you can invest it. Just the same way with money.
Okay.
The only difference between time and money is that time is non-refundable. Whatever time you lose, you can't get it back. Whereas with money, you can refund money.
Wow. You know, that's fantastic.
So I talk about, that's one of the things I talk about. And I drill down into, you know, a little bit more about time and a little bit more about love and a little bit more about discipline and how these are more important than thinking that you need to spend money or send money to your godchild every birthday, every Christmas. But letting them know that value and finding value and spending time with them is more important.